Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of the podcast. Today's episode is a rumor review for Pokemon Legends ZA. Welcome to the rumor review, where we go find some 4chan rumors, just kind of go over them, our thoughts on the plausibility of the events happening in these rumors. Now, I'm going to preface this with these are strictly rumors. These are not leaks. Nothing is leaked until it is officially confirmed via official sites for Pokemon, such as Cerebi.net, or other media news outlets like IGN, or Pokemon themselves. Let's dive into it. So this rumor I found on 4chan was dated for June 10th, so it's a recent rumor at the time of recording, and it starts off by saying this game is set in the past within the bounds of Lumio City. However, there is an underground section that will serve as the main hub to catch Pokemon. The Lumios Underground functions similarly to the Grand Underground from BDSP and the Terrarium from the Indigo Disc, as in there are multiple biomes where you can catch various Pokemons. Yeah, I'm getting old when I'm starting to pluralize Pokemon. So this person claims that the game is set in the past and that we're going to have an underground biome. I don't know, for me this kind of feels weird, because if this game is set in the past, then where's the biome when you actually get to the more current game? It doesn't even exist. There's no hint of this in the game, and I understand that, yes, well, they're going back and they're retconning. I understand that, but I mean, it would be something kind of cool to have alluded to prior to, which is kind of one of the things that throws a red flag for me, because I'm still in the mindset that we are still looking at a game set in the slight future.
All right, let me snap back on that right away with throwing the history of the Paris catacombs in here. The catacombs were much, much larger way back for the development of Paris and the surrounding area. And a lot of them started collapsing or being filled in to prevent them from being used for like robberies or nefarious sort of things. So what might have happened is we're going to see a catacombs analog, and we even saw them practice with something like that in the BDSP, so that you get the different biome areas to catch stuff. And then the reason it's not in the present day Lumios is because it caved in and nobody really talks about it.
So I mean, there's two ways you could look at this, right? Potentially, if we're looking at it from the past perspective, it could... So I can't remember the name of the cave that you find Zygarde in, or you encounter Zygarde in. Maybe a reason for Zygarde staying there was that could have been the entrance to this like underground biome. However, that's not directly under Lumio City. So I can see that being an argument for maybe if it was set in the past and then doing that way. However, I'm with Drake on this one. I believe it's set in the future. I feel we've been given more to indicate that it is set in the future, and, you know, because we're limited to Lumio City, and Lumio City looks like it might have gotten bigger just from the development plan. If, let's just say, yeah, it has gotten bigger, there'd be more drive for them to build sort of like an artificial wildlife area, similar to what we see in Scarlet and Violet with Blueberry Academy's Terrarium.
See, I didn't even really sit on the idea that it was going to be an argument between past and future, or where it takes place. I think we're definitely going to be in the future of Legends Arceus, but we're going to be in the past of what we're used to being like in X and Y. This might be a little bit ambiguous just because I think we're going to be in the past, but there's going to be a lot of scenes that are going to be intended to demonstrate the vision of what the future is going to be. And the growth is just because they're focused more in the city, I believe, as opposed to a canon expansion of what we being larger than what we saw in X and Y.
See, the thing is that I'm still stuck on this whole Radiant Historia thing, and for our viewers who don't know, it was a game where you were basically flipping from quote-unquote present time to a past time, and you're making little alterations which open up new areas for you in the present time. So you travel back in time, you complete a couple of quests, you go back to the future, and then all of a sudden, you know, more paths have opened up, things have changed, and you get to find out more things, you get to interact with more things, you get to explore more places, only to find out that you have to travel back in time and make some more changes and moving back and forth. And the reason I think this is because of the little the little context clues that they left in the trailer, at least those clues that I've inferred, where you've got that Talonflame that is literally devolving back into a Fletchinder. I don't think that it was just a simple, oh yes, we're this is taking place in the past. No, that Fletchinder reversed evolve, and to me that just kind of leans more heavily into being able to flip between the past and the future. And if you're talking about that, then all you're really needing to do is just do a reskin of the city and have a double set of dialogue. And I'm gonna just throw this out there. Part of the reason this could work is because the team that helped with Legend of Zelda is in the same building, and I do believe we're talked to by the Pokemon team that designed this game. And for Tears of the Kingdom, they figured out a new compression algorithm that basically let them squeeze almost 3 times as much space into the cards. So it wouldn't be that far-fetched, no pun intended, to put 2 copies of Lumio City that you're bouncing between the two, especially if you're sharing assets.
That in and of itself does make a lot of sense, specifically if we look at Scarlet and Violet as references, right? Because Scarlet, we've got the past Paradox Pokemon, Violet, we got the future Paradox Pokemon, and it's not really touched where they actually come from. It's very easy to see that one set is from the past, one set is from the future, and the idea of like alternate dimensions or like time travel or whatever it is only really happens after you've completed the Indigo Disc and you take Pokemon's name, the big new mythical legendary turtle one.
Baby Terrapolos.
Arapagoth, there we go. Back to Kitakami Lake, and the fact that some of those Paradox ones do look like a combination, well, a fusion of the Megas and normal Pokemon. I think it could tie into PLZA.
I think Chase is trying to take this conversation to somewhere that he mentioned he wanted us to have, in the idea that there might be a complete change to Mega Evolution. And it's something that I've even hinted at the past, that the retcon that we saw with Ash's Greninja might imply that they want to make Mega Evolution available in some way to all Pokemon. And even if it's just the final stages, how do you simplify Mega Evolution to a point that you can give it to everything? Battle Bond.
That's the thing, right? That's what's got me thinking, because we obviously had Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and that had Mega Evolution in it, but you just had to have the Mega Stones in your bag in order for your mons to evolve. But I really don't think that they're going to do that again, because given how story-driven PLA was, I feel like these Legend series games are going to be more heavily story-driven, and it'll also be a nice way for them to, if they do go the Battle Bond route, so like Megas look slightly different, or they can take on certain traits of their trainer. It could be a way to explain the Battle Bond Greninja without having to openly come out and say, look, it was just plot armor because we didn't want to give Ash a Mega, but we wanted him to have something on par with Megas.
That's true. The other way I could see Mega Evolution changing, and this is actually coming from the trailer and the way that Talonflame devolves into the Fletchinder and then Fletchling, as I've joked about this in some of the Discord channel servers that I'm in, is what would happen if a Fletchling was able to Mega Evolve? What if it temporary for battle, or because this is more of an action-based game, it has like a Mega Energy bar that depletes over time, so you get so long that you get a Mega Evolution running around with you? Or maybe the Mega Evolution is just a temporary stage up, so a Fletchling can temporarily become a Fletchinder via Mega Evolution or a Mega Evolution type mechanic, and then once that burns through, it goes back to its form. But when it actually evolves into a Fletchinder, if it Mega Evolves, temporarily becomes a Talonflame.
That's actually an interesting thought and idea.
Very Digimon-esque, and that's what the resounding response was when I pitched this idea. But it would be a way of including every Pokemon, not just the final evolutions, to have a way to use this mechanic. And then it would only limit the Pokemon that don't have any evolutions otherwise, which greatly narrows down the pool of Pokemon that you have to make Mega Evolution forms for.
Well, speaking of Megas, the rumor continues. The starters of this game are Snivy, Scorbunny, and Piplup, and will receive regional forms for their final stages. Additionally, you'll also pick up a Kalos Starter holding its respective Megastone, much like the Kanto starters in X and Y. I'm going to get back to this for a second, but I'm going to keep going because there's more Mega Evolution stuff here. The main goal of the game is to extract resources from the underground to help redevelop Lumiose, and in doing so, you'll have to clear out each biome of a special Pokemon assigned by Zygarde for each biome. All Megas are returning, including some new ones like Jinx, Crobat, Slowking, Flygon, Staraptor, Frostlass, Cofagrigus, Talonflame, etc. Go-Go will be a ride Pokemon, and there are some Pokemon post-Gen 6, and all of them receive either a regional form or Megas such as Colosian Greedent and Mega Cerulege. Now, a couple of red flags from me here. Number one, they're suggesting that the Kalos starters get their Megastones. Well, Kalos starters never got Megastones.
Yeah, that we're all hoping, though, for the community that there's some sort of redemption. They're the only starters that had nothing to do with the battle gimmick of their region.
Following that up, Mega Slowking. Okay, look, people give crap to Charizard, but Slowbro and Slowking have been given a ton of love over the last, 30 years now? You've got Slowpoke, Slowbro, Slowking, Galarian Slowbro, Galarian Slowking, Galarian Slowpoke, and Mega Slowbro. Okay, so it's getting 1 Mega, 2 regionals, 3 regionals, and it's wild that they're going to try and say, well, it's going to get a Mega Evolution too. What?
I personally want Mega Slowking just so that way we can see Turbid. It's going to be the beta Pokemon design. Instead of Mega Slowbro where it eats it from the bottom up, it just eats it from the top up and it just becomes the whole shell. There is no Slowpoke in there anymore.
Yeah, but are you going to apply that to the Galarian versions?
Why not? I think it would be fun. One, they could be sideways and see, the hard part is the Galarian Slowking versus normals.
Thing is, right, I wouldn't have used Slowpoke as an example personally, but I would rather have gone the Meowth route, because the only thing Meowth hasn't gotten is a Hisuian variant and a Mega.
True. Are we expecting to see Mega Persian?
That would be, I would love that. Persian, one of my favorite Pokemon.
Tell about what you think Mega Persian would look like, and what was your idea for it? I'd love to hear that.
So I was thinking if Persian were to get a Mega, it might possibly go the route of I think it's a Siberian Tiger, is the white one. Just because it is already that lighter color, and, Persian is very cunning, so I feel like Mega would bring out its more sort of like ferocious side.
I like that. I would think more like a Puma mountain lion, but I like the way that family focuses on the jewels and the gems. And then you can use that in parallel to the Mega Stone that it would get. And maybe there's something to that red gem in Persian's forehead. Somehow that's what became a Mega Stone for that line. There'd be cool lore there.
I'd like to see something with Jinx. I think Jinx has been ignored for far too long. And Cofagrigus, Cofagrigus is a gimmick Pokemon. It's got the ability Mummy, and all it does is it replaces abilities of Pokemon that touches with Mummy, which then spreads that to other things. It's like a plague. And so, like, for me, it just doesn't hit me right seeing these. And for me, it's throwing a lot of doubt into this particular rumor as far as it goes. I mean, it's an interesting idea, but I'm having a hard time swallowing this pill.
I just want to touch on another part of the rumor just quickly. So it mentions there that each sort of area is going to be guarded by, we'll call it an alpha Pokemon that's been assigned by Zygarde. My personal headcanon on that is, I think that each area is going to have its own respective Zygarde form. So we've already got the 10% form, which is the dog for one of the cores, because I think there is like 5 cores that have like different color chests. So I feel like the 10% for each of them might be something different. So whereas one is a dog, one might be a monkey, the next might be a bird, to maybe a T-Rex being the 4th one, just as an example. So
I swear to God, if I see Subarashi's renditions of Zygarde in this game, I am so looking at him going, dude, I told you.
So Subaru, Draco's uncle that gives us the Pokemon. I'm putting this all together.
Well, Draco would know because, he is our resident Nintendo Shadow CEO.
I haven't made an accurate call in a while. It's been a hot minute. You can't really keep claiming that.
Well, when people catch on to you, you have to start pretending like you don't know what's going on by making these false assumptions or false guesses.
And we know for sure we're not getting another Mega Charizard because that would just give it all away.
Exactly.
Something to mention is, you already kind of touched on wanting to see Mega Jinx, but there's a lot of talk about Mega Flygon in the community. And the reason for both of those is because we saw in a data mine a sound bite which sounded like a slowed or a deeper version of Jinx's Pride, which usually implies that it's a Mega form. And then the other thing is that we had an interview where they wanted to do Mega Flygon, but they had artist block in coming up with a creative form for it. So maybe we see these, or maybe they stay on the block. What do you guys think?
Flygon, interesting one, because there have been a lot of designs for it, for a Mega version of it in fan games and that. So I think with Nintendo's track record of nuking these fan games from existence, I think they do draw some inspiration from it. So I do believe them seeing how popular Flygon is and how popular of a candidate it is for Mega Evolution, it would be worthwhile for them to try and design something. I don't think it'll be as good as concepts we've seen for it, but at least it'll finally get that Mega that a large portion of the community has actually wanted.
Draco, how mad would you be if they gave Mega Flygon the Dunsparce treatment?
Oh, God. Do you come in at night and just kind of scan my brain for exactly knowing how I would react?
You still don't understand how this last champion spirit thing works, do you?
But in all honesty, my issue with things at the moment, as they stand, is that there has been so much time that has passed where people have been specifically targeting Jinx and Flygon that, for me, seeing those two Pokemon in a rumor, in any rumor, for me is an automatic red flag, because even though they might actually happen and it might be in the game, I, at the same time, have this problem of people using this to try and bait the community into thinking that this is a real rumor because of how desperate people want to see a Mega Flygon or a Mega Jinx.
Yeah, they're just riding the quote-unquote rumor meta.
Yeah, exactly. And so for me, seeing it in a rumor, it's another red flag. Now, full disclosure, that Ben Affleck leak from years ago that announced Generation 8.
Gen 8.
Yeah, I fully thought that rumor was absolute bunk. Turned out it was true. So, I mean, who's to say? I could be totally wrong here.
So that brings up the question. I kind of slid it in there in slides. Do we have a source for this rumor? Is this the re-emergence of Ben Affleck?
No, because the image that they're using is a female Sycamore.
Oh, so because I have seen some of the rumors coming from somebody claiming to be that same Ben Affleck leaker.
So we spoke about Charizard very briefly, and it's quite popular despite, all the hate it gets for it getting almost everything apart from regional variants. I think it could be quite interesting to see the re-emergence of the old Gen, like original Gen 1 shiny version of it, but as a Mega, so they would fuse X and Y together. That would then be what is a Z Mega, but with that purple and green color. Because I feel like they are trying to bring back those older designs, so whether it's beta Pokemon with Surfetched, for example, just done a bit differently to what Beta Sprite was. I feel like now they'd want to pay homage to Charizard's old shiny, bring something like that in, and I think it could be quite a cool concept for them to sort of poke into.
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I'm, also the resident Charizard enthusiast.
I feel like I have Soul Silver Art's voice screaming through the champion sphere right now to demand that Mega Seadra gets his arms back.
It'd be quite interesting.
Because the beta of Kingdra had it little arms, and it looked so much better, and then they made it very awkward. So if they make the Mega Kingdra much more parallel to that beta design, that'd be amazing.
Word.
It is quite weird because it's a seahorse, and the seahorses have those side fins, but Kingdra is just streamlined.
Yeah, they took it's almost like they went back to the drawing board instead of what the beta design was. I also feel like we talked about Megas the entire time.
But the last bit of it says, some ancestors to establish characters. The characters with the symbols mean the ancestor is the opposite gender of said character. So in this case, Sycamore would be a female Sycamore. Giovanni would be a female Giovanni, or male version of Jasmine, female Watson, male Fontina, Piers and Marnie's ancestor. For Kalos, Lysandre, Viola, Karina, Ramos, Clement, Olympia, Malva, Wilkstrom, and Diantha, as well as Lance, Claire, Glacia, Stephen, Chantral, Mina, Oleana, Tulip, Miriam, Salvatore. Here's some other bits of info. The game will have battles but won't replace Scarlet Violet as the main VGC game. The game will release in mid-2025 and will come to Switch 2 as a launch title, but it won't be the only one or the main attraction like Breath of the Wild was. The next trailer, which reveals the starters and gameplay, will be in the next Present, which is in August. So in August, we'll find out if this is a legitimate rumor or not. Most likely, though, I'm going to kind of say no.
So you're telling me we get absolutely no Pokemon information until August, when we're already in the dead center of a drought. See, this is what I mean when I say that the Pokemon Company is forcing content creators to do videos like this.
Right?
That's quite a weird one, right? Because I don't think the Switch 2 is going to launch mid-2025. If anything, they'd want it as a holiday buy and capitalize on those sales. And in the same vein, I can't see PLZA being a mid-year game. It would also be a holiday title.
Yeah, if we're getting the next announcement in August, it's probably going to be a November release, which would put it right in with the holiday thing like both you and I feel it would be, Jace.
I just feel like it makes more sense to be a holiday thing because, I mean, middle of the year itself is quite a weird release period anyway.
But do both of them have to be a holiday period? I can very easily see them want it, like the console itself, the Switch 2 being a holiday release makes more sense than having to force both of them as a holiday release. I mean, we got the last Legends game in January.
It was January 27th, somewhere around there, and then literally 1 month later we got the Pokemon Day announcement.
So that would explain why they did the announcement for CA in this Pokemon Day, because we're going to get it right before the next one, and then Pokemon Day 2025 is probably going to be focused on Gen 10.
See, that's my fear, though, because if they're going to drop PLZA and then a month later do, oh, hey, Gen 10, it is by far one of the worst marketing strategies that Nintendo did, in my opinion. And I mean, I know I've talked about this one to death by now. And with that said, let us know what you think about this rumor that we found on 4chan. What are your thoughts? Let us know down below. Also, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. And thank you, X, for joining us again.
You know I'm always around when you need me.
And with that, have a great day. Bye.
Yarbles.
Don't be a rumor.